For as long as I have been a coaster enthusiast, there have been many new additions opening at parks throughout the years that everybody gets really hyped about, and I could always see what the hype behind these rides were. However, in 2024, there's a new roller coaster opening up that I don't technically consider new either. Quite frankly though, however, I can't seem to figure out why this ride in particular has so much hype built around it. In fact, trying to figure out the hype behind this ride specifically has been very puzzling to me. So, what ride am I talking about specifically? I am of course talking about Top Thrill 2 opening at Cedar Point in 2024. Hear me out. I know a lot of you are going to be coming at my neck for this one, but here's the thing. To me, all Top Thrill 2 looks like is an unglorified rollback. Of course, you're gonna have the spike and you're gonna get a lot of hang time up there, especially in the back row when you're all the way up the top of the spike. However, besides that, the only other thing that I can see that is really exciting about this ride is all the views you're going to get from the top of the top hat. Now, something that I definitely want to disclaim before I get into the rest of this video is that I'm not going to be knocking Cedar Point or Zamperla at all for whatever they're doing to Top Thrill 2. I'm just simply stating my opinions on what I prefer on roller coasters and how Top Thrill 2 compares to that. In fact, I'm extremely happy for Zamperla. I feel like this is a major step in a direction that they're new to, and I feel like this is opening the door for them to do absolutely great things in the future. So props to Zamperla for taking on such a major project, as they've never done anything like this before. Now with that being said, I'm Austin from Derailed Coasters, and this video is about why I think Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point is overrated already. I am completely aware that this ride has not even opened to the public yet. However, we have an idea of what to kind of expect already due to the fact that Top Thrill 2 is a project of renovation. This so-called new roller coaster is going to be reusing the entirety of the old Top Thrill dragster structure. So to some degree, I don't consider this ride entirely brand new. And I'm even going to go as far as to say that some of the newest aspects being added to this roller coaster are actually hurting it rather than helping it. The number one thing that I think is hurting this ride is the addition of the LSM launch. Now before I get into why that is, I do want to point out that there is one thing about this LSM launch system that is really going to benefit this ride. That being is it's going to eliminate a lot of the reliability issues that Top Thrill Dragster had previously, which is a great thing for this ride because in the past Top Thrill Dragster experienced tons of downtime due to the launch system. Many intimate accelerators across the world experience tons of downtime due to the hydraulic launching system. Accelerator and King Ka especially are no strangers to this. Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm just reopened recently after experiencing about a year or so of downtime. When a park's highlight attraction is one of these intimate accelerator coasters and it experiences a plethora of downtime due to the launch system, this can be very damaging to not only the park and the ability to control the crowds, but also the ride and its reliability. Now, in most cases, evidently, when you go to a park after a ride has had major downtime, it doesn't really show that the public is really distrusting of the ride after knowing that it's had a major issue. However, I do believe that there is a crowd of people out there that after hearing a ride has had a major incident with reliability, that they are inclined to not ride the roller coaster because they probably feel that it isn't completely safe. As I said though, this isn't necessarily evident, as most rides after major downtime incidents have full queue lines still and see a lot of attraction from the guests. However, the biggest issues that can arise from extended downtime incidents, for example accelerators and Top Thrill dragsters, is that a distrust between a theme park chain and the manufacturer of said coasters can develop. This in turn causes the theme park chain hurt by this extended downtime to refuse business to the manufacturer responsible for the ride and its downtime. Cedar Fair is a major example of this, as Cedar Fair no longer purchases any Intamin products and only works with Intamin when it comes to making sure that their existing Intamin rides are properly maintained and taken care of. In the case of existing Intamins being properly taken care of though, unfortunately while not being able to 100% be verified, there is a rumor that the incident regarding Top Thrill Dragster may have occurred due to the use of aftermarket parts being used on the train's design, rather than the original manufacturer's suggested parts. Using aftermarket parts is not necessarily a good thing, as you are placing your trust in a different manufacturer that may have developed the part to not the same degree as the original manufacturer, which means said part that you are buying in the aftermarket form may not have the same rating as the original manufacturer's part. This could potentially mean that aftermarket aftermarket part can become more susceptible to failing. This is due to the fact that not every aftermarket part is machined or rated to the standard that the original manufacturer requires, which in turn means that the aftermarket part may not be capable of handling the forces being produced by the ride or machine it's being used on. Unfortunately, Intamin manufactured rides that are responsible for a couple of the major accidents that have happened within the Cedar Fair chain, two being at Cedar Point specifically. The first notable accident is the Shoot the Rapids ride where a boat had flipped over, injuring its passengers, and the second being the incident with Top Thrill Dragster where a piece of the train sheared off and impacted a guest standing in the queue line and severely injuring them. Getting back to the original point, the addition of the LSM launch system on Top Thrill 2 should make the ride much more reliable and in the future should decrease the chances of any significant accidents occurring on the ride. While there are a plethora of benefits to having the LSM launch system installed on this ride, as opposed to reusing the hydraulic launch system, I do believe that the LSM launch system will negatively affect the ride's overall experience. Top Thrill Dragster was known for having an incredibly powerful launch that pulled some great forces, and you could even argue that that was the selling point of the ride, and the reason that Top Thrill Dragster was revered as one of the best coasters in the world. The new LSM launch system most certainly will not provide the same amount of intensity that the old launch system did, as the new launch design is a gradual multi-pass launch system, whereas it will take longer and multiple launch passes to build up to speed. The new selling point for Top Thrill 2 is the idea that the ride will offer you a guaranteed rollback, as the rollback was something that was greatly sought after on the original Top Thrill Dragster. Unfortunately, however, it would appear that this rollback that they're trying to sell may not even be halfway up the Tower of the Top Hat. After reviewing several instances of footage of Top Thrill 2 testing, the ride appears to only make it halfway at most up the main tower, which will take a lot of that excitement away from experiencing a rollback. The true rollback experience was rolling backwards near the crest of the Top Hat, which created a more exhilarating ride experience. That being said, one could argue that to compensate for this is the idea that you would be traversing almost to the peak of the spike backwards, which creates a new fun and exciting experience. And I agree, the spike will absolutely be a fun experience, and I feel as though the addition of the spike is a great way to enhance the overall experience. However, I at the same time think that there is wasted potential in this project as well. I am sure there are various factors that are in play in determining this, but since Cedar Fair was already willing to modify the layout with the addition of the spike, why not add more elements with it? I'm sure the cost of doing this would have been astronomical, but could you imagine an airtime hill in the middle of the launch track going up to the top hat? I'm not implying that they should have gone absolutely crazy with adding new elements, but as proven by the already existing roller coasters that feature the smaller airtime hill in the middle of their initial launch section, this particular moment can often be a great surprise to riders and enhance the ride experience that much further. A smaller airtime hill added into the middle of the straight launch section on Top Thrill 2 doesn't seem too far-fetched and would have added another awesome experience to what the ride will already offer. Overall, the point I am trying to make with this video is not that Top Thrill 2 will be a bad ride, because it most certainly will be a fun and enjoyable ride, and I am positive many will come to love this coaster. But rather, I personally feel as though a lot of the hype that's been built around Top Thrill 2, and especially in calling it a new roller coaster, just doesn't seem to make a ton of sense to me, and in that case, I feel as though this ride has already become overrated. Granted, nobody has physically ridden Top Thrill 2 yet, so no one can identify for sure what the exact ride experience will be like. However, with the points I've made in this video about the ride experience, I am making comparisons from other rides that I've ridden that already feature certain elements to Top Thrill 2, such as the spike and LSM launch elements, both of which I have experienced on rides such as Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. Using these experiences will help me give a general idea of how Top Thrill 2 will feel in ride. What can't be compared to though is experiencing the launch and spike at the height and speed Top Thrill 2 will be offering them at. Though I will point out that the first launch on Top Thrill 2 will only be 74 miles per hour, which is very similar to the max speed of the LSM launch that Pantheon offers. The big difference though is that the launch on Top Thrill 2 will feel a lot tamer in comparison to Pantheon's, due to the fact that the length of the launch track is far longer on Top Thrill 2 than Pantheon. This isn't a bad thing depending on what you prefer in terms of forces, as there are plenty of people who have probably felt that the launch on Top Thrill Dragster may have been too intense for them. Preferences are a major factor in play here, as the roller world of people who enjoy roller coasters has a variety of people who prefer different things. So do keep in mind that when I mentioned that I personally think that Top Thrill 2 may be overrated, some others may feel the exact opposite, as the new ride experience may offer more of what is preferred to other guests. Videos like these definitely come from a point of view by the person and what they prefer in a ride. And me personally, I love very intense ride experiences that offer insane forces. So I know they say to never judge a book by its cover, and of course I haven't actually ridden Top Thrill 2 yet, but judging based on what I've seen as far as test run footage goes, I just don't believe that Top Thrill 2 will offer the kind of ride experience that I personally am looking for. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with my points, and do you believe that Top Thrill 2 is overrated like I do? Let me know in the comments below. By making this video, I was hoping that I could hear some other perspectives from people who don't think the ride is overrated to help me understand better what the hype behind this ride is really about. So if you're excited for Top Thrill 2, let me know what it is you're excited about in the comments. And if you're new to the channel and you liked this video and want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing and also leaving a like on this video, as it greatly helps with the YouTube algorithm. Please be sure to recognize that this video is based on my opinions, and not everything that I'm saying here is factual. With that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Austin from Derailed Coasters, and I will see you on the next video.